Do you take requests? I do. Welcome to the Super Pilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I will be telling you all about, well, what little I know about the air tractor. What is the air tractor, you say? I will tell you. Okay, yeah, so the air tractor is it's a little airplane. You might be I don't know if you're a Disney movie fan. There was a movie called Planes quite a few years back, and that was a pretty cool movie. It was kind of by pilots for pilots, but yeah, kids might like it because these little cartoon planes are flying around. But the star of the show was Dusty Crophopper, and he was an air tractor. So let's get out my little marker and whiteboard here, and let's draw an air tractor. Yeah, so it's designed for crop spraying, and that's what it was originally designed for. But just over the years, I was kind of researching a bit more because I'd seen it not just use an aerial application of I don't know, pesticides and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Hey, Wrench. Yeah, so the air tractor. This was suggested by Wrench, my last show, so I'm going to talk about it. Okay. Yeah. So it was originally designed just strictly for crop spraying or crop dusting, and but then the thing is, it's such a capacity to carry so much. Oh, hey, Daniel, and Daniel, and so they just said, well, let's see if it can do this. Let's see if it can do this. So let's go over how versatile this little airplane is, and it's a single engine propeller driven airplane, but it can carry like a ton, and it's actually pretty big. I've seen one, but not really up close. But if you see any pictures on the internet, I was kind of researching this for the show. Yeah, they're pretty big, and that it's about. I've also seen up close and personal. There's these, what's it called, a drometer. There's a few of these that they used to fly up here, the St. Thomas Airport. There's some there that are all kind of been picked apart for parts and stuff. It was this drometer. It was this old Polish, great big monster radial engine thing. This thing was huge, and I'm thinking the air tractor is about the same if it can carry about the same amount of weight. So here we go. That's what the wing looks like. So most of the time for airplanes, you see how it's got kind of like a skinny part of the wing here, and then like kind of the fattest part of the wing is right about here. That's usually on any airplane. That's where most of the weight is, like the center of gravity of the whole airplane is right there at the fat part of the wing. So that's how this is kind of designed. A guy named Leland Snow started designing it back in like the early 1950s. So he went good old Leland, and I know this because I saw it on Wikipedia. So, okay, so it kind of looks like this. What do we got here? Okay, this is going to be once again my excellent artistic ability. Guy sits up here. Oh, I'm looking pretty good here. Hey, all right, not bad if I do say so myself. There's the air tractor. So the guy sits, this is where your pilot sits up here. All right. Let's put a nose on him. Every pilot has to have a baseball cap. All right, there we go. Smile on his face. Okay, there's your pilot right there. That's what a air tractor. He's always kind of smiling because it's probably a pretty fun plane to fly. But you can see it's got like this kind of, what you would have here is this is where you would store all of your chemicals and stuff that you're going to spray out the bottom. And the original airplane had a radial engine on it, so it would stick out, okay, like this, and it's got like a little shroud around there. So there's your radial engine at the front with your propeller like that. What a beautiful propeller. So yeah, so that's the way that it was originally designed as. Oh, hey Brian, welcome to the show. And so that's the way that was. back in the 1950s. But then the company kind of got sold and bought and bought and sold, like some companies do. And then, so in up to about 1973, when the actual air tractor factory opened up, and it's in Texas. So they started making one with the radial engine there. That's the same engine that they have in that Boeing Stearman crop dusters use. That it's a 450 horsepower Junior Wasp Pratt and Whitney radial engine. And that's the same engine that was used on North American T6s, or Harvards as they call them here in Canada. And the de Havilland Beaver had the same engine as that. So it's a really powerful engine for, I don't know, a pretty light airplane. So like if there was nothing, no chemicals in here and you're light on gas, I bet you'd climb like a rocket. But what you could do now is, like, once those old radial engines, they kind of got like a little old in the tooth. So they put a turbine engine on it. Now, this is what they do on all, you've seen this on the de Havilland Beaver, and you'll see it on the air tractor here too, is that once you have, okay, so you got your engine up here, but a turbine engine is considerably less weight than a radial piston engine. So what they got to do there is they got to extend the nose out a little bit. And so we'll redraw that. So this is what it looks like now. Exactly. Let's see if I can make a better propeller. Not too bad. Okay. So they extend the propeller way out here. Maybe it should be a little bigger. All right, there we go. So they extend it out here so that they don't have to change anything for the weight and balance here. So you had your really heavy here, but remember the center of gravity is right here by the fat part of the wing. So if it's lighter, you have to move it out more. So that's why you'll see on a lot of airplanes that transition from a radial engine to a turbine engine, that they extend the nose, like a Turbo Beaver, Turbo Otter, and this one here, the air tractor. So that's the way that is. And then, so, okay, let's go spraying. And you fill this all up and away you go. I was trying to figure out where the gas tanks were. I think the gas tanks are in the wings, because but I couldn't see. I was googling up pictures of okay, fueling air tractor. Couldn't see anyone. Here's a guy fueling. I guess pilots don't like to take pictures of themselves fueling up airplanes. I'd imagine they're in the wings, because I saw on the dashboard or on the instrument panel, there's a right and left fuel tank. So I'm assuming it's in the wings. And this part here is just for putting your chemicals in. But the airplane that I saw a few years back, it was like this. Oh, and it's a tail dragger, by the way. What do we got here? Okay, I don't know exactly where the wheels are, but it's a tail dragger. So they're all like that. And but I saw there was that looks like two little guys feet walking or something. It had a great big tank underneath here, the one that I saw. Yeah, a great big belly tank underneath, and then you could kind of fill it up here with liquid. So what happened was, this is, and I was looking into it on their website, is that this is designed for transporting fuel, like diesel fuel. So a few years back, that's the only real air tractor I've seen relatively up close and personal. I saw it over on the ramp. And it had this big belly tank. So I was asking, and it was going back and forth to like down where we are here at the very bottom of Canada. There's this island called Pelee Island, which is it's kind of in the middle of Lake Erie, but it's still technically, it belongs to Canada. And so on Pelee Island, it's in Lake Erie. So it's actually more south of where I am now. And so this airplane was going back and forth between the Windsor Airport and the Pelee Island Airport, which actually is the most southern airport in Canada. So yeah, so it was going back and forth transporting diesel fuel, like back and forth. And because at the time, I think it was like a ship hit there's one main cable that goes over to the island to give it electricity, and some ship hit it and in the lake, and the island had no electricity, so they do have a backup generator over there, big backup generator, and but it runs on diesel fuel, and they weren't going to get the line hooked fixed up in time. So this guy was shuttling diesel fuel back and forth to the island from Windsor Airport to there. And I think they did that for about a week, and they were going like constantly because trying to keep the lights on the island. Then they got the line fixed, and this air tractor went away. But that's what the first one I saw. It had this big belly here, so you could also use this for transporting fuel. And I think they do that up north too, in the Arctic and other communities that rely on like diesel generators and stuff like that. Now, here's another fun thing about the air tractor. We talked about it a little bit the other day about how you can use it to fight fires. So it had what do we got here? So let's put some floats on here. I forget exactly how should I draw the floats. They'll probably go like this. Oh, my artist work is nothing but the best. Here we go. I don't know. Does this look like a float plane to you? There we go. So you got your floats on the bottom. And but these are interesting floats. And I've seen, so what happens is you can go and you can scoop up water with these floats. Like there's a little, I don't know exactly where on here. I'm going to say it's down here on the step, probably. You can probably open up a little flap. I'm going to guess on that. And then you scoop up water when you're on the water. Whoop. Actually, we'd be like this. Artistry. So there you go. You're skimming along the water like that. You have a little scoop and it comes up here. And this also would have that big belly thing. How can I draw that? Oh, well, let's do it like that. What would that look like? Okay, we're good. This is not exactly the greatest artistry in the world. All right, so there we go. So we got our big belly tank here, and this scoops it up, and there's a hose that goes from here, and it goes all the way up here, and then it would go up here maybe, and then then it fills up the tank, and then you can fly over a fire, and you open up this thing underneath here. It's like a little bomb bay door, and it opens up, and sploosh, you just dump all the water that you picked up here, and you dump it on your fire. So that's a little different than I thought that it would be, but like that's pretty cool. And I did work on, I was thinking that they would keep all the water actually in the float, because I've worked on it was a Ministry of Natural Resources here in Ontario. They have a twin otter with specially designed floats. They were really expensive to build. Someone told me it was like $1 million a float or something like that. I forget what it was, but they're big. They're huge for a twin otter, and they can scoop up and hold water in the float. And then it's got little doors on here in the float that they can drop on fires if they have to. And it was kind of cool. I worked on when I was up in Sault Ste. Marie. I worked in a machine shop there for a little bit, and so they got the contract to make the hinge for a little door to drop water for, and it was a Whip Air blueprint, and I had to make it. So I made a couple of these interesting little. They have really interesting kind of curves and radiuses on them and stuff, so that it opens and closes properly. Some pretty intricate board holes, and it was made out of stainless steel too. So that was kind of cool. It would make sense that you would make something out of stainless steel to deal with that in case you're scooping up salt water, then it doesn't corrode as much. So it makes sense to me. But yeah, so that's how the air tractor fire water bomber scooper thing works with that big belly thing. And what else do they got there? Oh, another thing about these. Okay, like I'm just going to kind of show you all the different things that this air tractor can do. It's pretty versatile. Okay, so there's another version of it. Then another version is okay, this one doesn't have any wheels. So yeah, you can have it so you can use this as a training airplane. So They're normally designed for one pilot, but I saw it is I wrote it down here. AT504. It's set up the exact same, but except you sit side by side, so it's a little bit fatter canopy. Although it's not that fat, I don't think two chubby guys could sit in this cockpit. It looks pretty tight. Probably like an old, about as it looked to me like about the same as an old Cessna 150 or something. It's pretty tight cockpit. But they sit side by side, and then that way you can teach people how to do aerial application and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Rather than just like, hey, go spray the fields, you're just by yourself and you get no training. That could be deadly. Yeah, so it's also available in a trainer, and there's another thing that it does too, which is pretty cool. Let's go back to our let's go back to our tail dragger design. And because it can carry so much weight, I saw there's actually a military version of the air tractor. I didn't even know it, and it's called the Sky Warden, and they make it down in Oklahoma, I think, something like that. Or air tractors are made in Texas, but I think they fly them over to Oklahoma and they rig them all up to be all military. And so they have hard points under here that you could like. I saw it on the internet. You can stick like missiles on there. There's my missile. Too close for missiles. We're switching to DDT. So yeah, so you can have like a bunch of missiles and bombs and stuff underneath the there too. And I don't know if they can stick machine guns on there, but it's designed for what they call it, light support and reconnaissance or something like that. So yeah, so there's even a military version of the air tractor. So thanks, Wrench, for suggesting this topic, because I didn't know this is such a versatile plane. And yeah, it was pretty cool. So that is about all I know about that. And they still make them brand new. And I don't know how much they cost, but it's and I didn't really look into how fast they go or anything, but I think it's really designed more for just lifting a lot, heavy stuff, and taking off probably from grass strips because it's still in a tail dragger design, but pretty old design, been tweaked out over the years. And there is your military air tractor Sky Warden. Okay, so there we go, complete with sound effects. Yeah, that's about all I know about that there, Wrench. Cool. And I don't know if you've ever they could ever put those on skis. I haven't seen them, but you never know. I don't know if you couldn't really use that for anything in the wintertime though. Spraying polar bears or something. Okay, so there we go. That's all I know about the air tractor, and I'd love to fly one. I bet you that'd be a real blast to fly them. But just yeah, like I think if it was light, it would probably climb like a rocket. That'd be really neat. And it'd probably be like you're looking out the long nose like that. I'd imagine it's like, oh, here I am in my I'm in my fighter plane, buzzing the trees and stuff like that. Oh, another thing that I noticed here too, that if you are crop spraying, they'll have a little thing up here so you can keep looking out the window, and it's all hooked up with your GPS and everything. So you're looking out here, and on your GPS, so you're going to fly kind of like a pattern to get your field. So you go like this, and then you like fly around. I don't know. I guess you probably go something like that. You can do it on the GPS now and go like that, and kind of back and forth. And as it's programmed into the GPS, this little thing up here will tell you if you're like, I think it's a green light in the middle, and you want that on. That means you're on your track with the GPS. And then if you just follow where the GPS is, you'll be able to spray the whole field. And then if you're off track, it'll be like a red light to the right or red light to the left or something like that. I forget what it is, but that way you can keep looking outside, which would be very, very important if you're flying these things down at like treetop level or soybean level or cornfield level, because like that would be very, very tiring for the pilot, because like you're just concentrating on your altitude. Although I did know one guy, he knew an old crop duster up around St. Thomas. name of his little town up around here. And the guy that was a crop duster said that, like, oh, yeah, you just get down, and then when you feel the wheels hitting the top of the corn, then you know you're low enough. So it's like, just get down. Oh, there's the beans. You know, I don't know, man. You get an extra big one, I might suck you in, but I don't know. That's I heard that from somebody that that's what they did in the old days, but it's I don't know. I think they've got all that. You'd have to take some definite training if you wanted to do that type of work safely, and it's still a little. It's not type. I think it'd be a fun job. It'd be fun to train to do that or something, but I wouldn't want to do it for a job every day. I think eventually your number would come up, but maybe it's just one of those things you get used to. Okay, so here we go. What do we got here? I'll go through some comments and stuff before we start our weekend. Hey. All right. Okay. Oh, and Wrench, when I was talking about the movie, Wrench has all the Planes toys. Itchy nose here. Yeah. Must mean I'm lying, right? Yeah, I thought that movie was really cool because like it was very realistic for pilots. I forget there was one scene there that they're like sitting at the bar. The airplanes are sitting at the bar drinking. And the guy's like, "Yeah, pour me another Aeroshell W100 plus or something." I'm like, "Hey, I know that oil type." You know, it's like it was really. I'd say the movie Planes by Disney Pixar. I don't know who did it, but that was probably the most realistic airplane movie I've ever seen, and it was a cartoon. They must have had a lot of experts advising on that. Okay. What do we got here? Let's see. All right. So what do we got here? So I think Wrench was saying he saw some dusting plants are turbine. Some are radial. Cessna is huge flat. What works best? Yeah, I don't know what would work best there, Wrench. It's one of those typical. What is it? It's yeah. I think there's a Cessna Pawnee or something like that. I think that uses like a Lycoming or something like that. That does crop spraying too. It's one of those typical trade-offs. Do you want to burn more gas? That's more expensive. Do you want to carry more? Do you want more horsepower? Do you need some speed? Like all that trade-off. It's probably like, oh, what's the best airplane? It's the same thing as like, oh, what's the best truck or what's the best car? Depends on what you're using it for and how much money you want to spend. So my answer for that, Wrench, is I don't know. I couldn't tell you, dude. It's complicated. Oh, here we go. Afternoon, Graham. Afternoon, Brian. Did not you and I see a couple over at St. Thomas when we stopped there on a cross country training stuff? Yeah, yeah, Brian, I think I mentioned that before. Those are actually drometers. So I think it's called a PLZ drometer or PLZ. Yeah, I'm gonna Google that right now. Drometer airplane. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, here we go. Great big huge radial engine. Oh, they still make those M18 Drometer. Single engine agricultural aircraft manufactured by PZL Milek in Poland. Okay. It's used for crop dusting and firefighting. Yeah. So produced 1976 to the present. And it looks like they still got the great big huge yeah, so PZL or PZL Drometer. I don't know. I bet you they burn a ton of gas. So those drometers that we saw that up there were parked, and then as they were parted out and scavenged and stuff like that, I think it's probably harder to get parts. I bet you those things burn a ton of gas because if it was designed in Poland in 1976, so you're using like Soviet Union. We want big engine, make big, give more fuel. We have lots of fuel in Siberia. So it's like, yeah, they burned a lot of gas. So all that stuff did. Okay, what do we got here? Here we go. So crop planes seldom live at regular airports here, usually private fields, never see them. Yeah, so that was a yeah, you usually don't see them too much. What did I see? I did see, there's another crop duster I saw, and it was on a little grass strip. And it was really cool when I saw it because we were crossing from Canada into the United States from Saskatchewan into North Dakota. And it was really cool that we were pulling up to the customs there, and this crop duster flew like right over the top of the van we were in. Like it was like coming into land. There was a grass strip, and out west in Canada, there's a few grass strips that actually I'm gonna look it up in the book. Stand by. Yeah, so I was gonna look it up in the book. It was Cornack, Saskatchewan, I believe. So what they used to do, um, when was it? When Canada was training people to fly before World War. Okay, so Canada entered World War II before the Americans did. We went in with the British in 1939. But the Americans didn't get into it till what, 1941, something like that. So the little time in between where we were training pilots here in Canada, there was we were buying airplanes from the United States to fly up to Canada to train, like I don't know, a lot of Boeing Stearmans and stuff like that. And then but there was a law back then that you couldn't have a military pilot. Um, you couldn't have a military pilot fly from the United States to Canada or to a Canadian air base or something like that. There was some funny thing where the pilots couldn't fly into Canada to land it at an Air Force base or something like that. So they built all these little grass strips right on the very border of of the United States and Canada. I think there's some in Winnipeg or Manitoba there too. Yeah, here we go. So and then so they'd land exactly on the border. The American pilot would like go catch a ride home. The Canadian pilot would hop in at the border and fly to the Air Force base here. So Scobie Border Station here. I don't know if you can see that. We're gonna go. So there's this little grass strip, and it's right exactly on the border. Let's see if I can get that here. This is got old school with the paper. I gotta show this. Can we see this here? Yeah. So right here, that's Cornack. Can we get closer? So you can see the little chart on the north. It says Canada. Whoop, over here, Canada and USA, and the grass strip is right on the border. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And so you could see on that map that the customs was right there. So it was just landing right over top of our head, like cleared the van by like 20 feet or something. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, and it was a grass strip, so that's why these things they have their tail draggers, which are great for grass strips. All right, little side, little little anecdote there for you. Okay. Okay. What do we got? Oh, Shecky was in here too. I didn't see it pop in, Shecky, so thanks for the thumbs up. Oh, here we go. What's this? Website says it cruises at 191 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour landing. So what's that knots? That'd be probably 55 knots and for landing, which is that's an okay landing speed. 191 miles per hour is about 150 knots. That's pretty good, but I bet you're burning a lot of gas there too. So thanks for that, Wrench. Oh, hey, I didn't even see Doc show up here. I'm a world hero. Thanks, man. I should highlight this and have some little like fireworks or something blowing up for the excellent comments. Thanks, David. Okay. And then Wrench was saying that he Dusting is thrown up a bunch, and then he corrected that later that he'd be throwing up. Yeah, because they do like some kind of little wing overturns and stuff like that. That's all kind of weird. A lot of up and down. So it was what was David saying here in southern Wisconsin? Increased use of large drones to conduct crop dusting. Saw it in person last summer. Oh, yeah, there's not for those crop dusting airplanes. I've seen some smaller helicopters doing that. It's not just the airplanes anymore, and I could see the drones. Yeah, I could see some bigger drones really getting into that too. I knew one guy. He has a company that I haven't seen him in a few years, but he bought this really heavy duty drone, and six blades. And this was a few years ago. And I think he paid about 40 grand for that and some software. And he could go out and survey farmers' fields, and the drone just goes, and then it takes all his camera, records all the topographical information, feeds it into a computer, crunches it all, and you can find and it gives you a 3D drawing of the farmer's field to see where they should put drainage in, and like it can detect even like a 6-inch slope or something like that. It'll give it all the contours and okay, farmer, put some clay over here, put some Big O over there, and yeah, so the drones can do a lot these days. Okay, what else we got here? Hey, Solitude Surfer popped in too. Hey, thanks. Thanks for showing up, man. What's this? I didn't even read this. I'll just read it live. Hopefully it's not offensive. Okay, last time I flew commercially, the attendant told me to get on the plane. I said, I'm not Graham Wilson. I will instead get in the plane. Now I'll just walk everywhere or use my e-bike. Yep. I think you ripped that one off from, what was that? Was that a George Carlin joke, I think, or something like that? Still a classic. Okay. Okay, what else we got here? What Daniel was saying here wouldn't have to be a whole show, but the research could be fun. History of World War II nose cone pinups. Yeah, there is I don't know how lewd that could get, but well, it is a suggestion, so it is a request, so I do take requests. Let me write that down. Where's my pen? Oh, over here. Pinup girls. I don't know. All right, there we go. I'll look into it and probably throw something together, I guess. Yeah, like when did people start painting on that? I know everyone did it, so here we go. Okay. Oh, here we go. What's this here? Yeah, I asked those same questions. The drone is about 6 feet by 6 feet, carried 50 gallons of water, large battery, and the drone had to return multiple times to have a refill in a battery. Yep, I can see that. 50 gallons. So the air tractor, if I remember correctly, can hold 800 gallons. So, yeah. That's a bit different, but I don't know what's cheaper, diesel or jet fuel, diesel fuel. Yeah, because that's what the turbine engines run on, like jet fuel, actually. So jet fuel or battery, I don't know. It's one of those things. Okay, what do we got here? EAA Museum in Oshkosh has an entire section of World War II nose cone pinup art. I think you can find it online at their site. Oh, that's cool. Oshkosh, that's up by you. All right. Very cool. All right, that's all of our comments and everything like that. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for the idea there, Wrench. And it's like one day I might be talking about pinup girls. We'll see. But I will be back on Monday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And I guess we'll just kind of shut her down. So you guys have a great weekend. And thank you for watching. Bye.